Rob Vino here with your early Sunday evening power ratings projected lines report as we wait for the openers to come up in college football. Let's go ahead and run down the card and look at where my power ratings set this week's college football lines. First off, let's take a quick look as we do each and every week at the top power ratings teams in the nation. Right now, overall, top power rated team is Ohio State, followed by Baylor, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, UCLA, USC, LSU, TCU, and Michigan State. The difference between those 10 teams, just 6.5 points, shows you how close things would be on neutral fields if any of those teams met up. Let's go to the bottom, worst power rating teams or lowest power rated teams in the country. Lowest power rating, Charlotte. Georgia State, little above them. New Mexico State, Eastern Michigan, Idaho, Old Dominion, North Texas, Texas El Paso, and Miami of Ohio. So there you have it, your top power ratings teams, your bottom power ratings teams. Real quick, we'll look at the top risers and the biggest fallers so far this season. Differential between the power rating when the season opened and the power rating right now. Biggest difference on the positive side right now, Ohio State plus 9.5 points. Their power rating has moved in their 4 games so far this season. Ohio U, the top mover at plus 9.5, followed by fellow MAC team Bowling Green. Third is SMU, Middle Tennessee, Southern Mississippi, Texas Tech, California, Michigan, NC State, and Appalachian State. Those are your biggest movers so far this season. Teams that have fallen from the most from where their opening season power rating was. Team that's fallen the most, the Oregon Ducks, fallen 8 full points off of where their season opening power rating was. Followed by Texas El Paso, Missouri, Marshall, Central Florida, Auburn, Wyoming, San Diego State, Fresno State, and Kansas. So there you go, teams that have fallen the most this season in the power ratings. Let's go ahead and go through the power ratings lines quickly here. I'll give you the rotation number. We'll start right at the top, go in order. Here's what it looks like for this week. Thursday, October the 1st, game number 103, 104. If you want to follow the cursor right here, here's the board. Miami of Florida at Cincinnati. Power ratings make Cincinnati minus 6.5. Next up, Memphis and South Florida. This is a Friday game. Memphis on the road minus 11. Temple at Charlotte. Temple, according to power ratings, minus 22.5. Connecticut at BYU. BYU at home minus 22.5. Move over to Saturday, game 111, 112. North Carolina at Georgia Tech, Atlantic Coast Conference, Coastal Division battle, Georgia Tech at home minus 9. Army at Penn State minus 23. MAC contest, Bowling Green at Buffalo, Bowling Green on the road minus 6.5. These MAC contests are divisional matchups. Here's another one, Toledo at Ball State. Game number 117, 118, Toledo minus 10.5. Wyoming at Appalachian State, strange road trip there, Appalachian minus 15.5. Another MAC divisional contest, Ohio U at Akron, Ohio U minus 8. Just told you that Ohio U has made the most improvement in the power ratings of all teams this year. Miami of Ohio at Kent State minus 8. Next up, Big 12 matchup, Kansas at Iowa State. That's game 125, 126 right here. And Iowa State minus 13.5. Purdue at Michigan State, Big 10 matchup. Michigan State minus 25.5. Non-conference, Florida International at Massachusetts. Florida International minus 3. Big 10, Minnesota at Northwestern. Northwestern minus 2.5. Big one in the ACC. Obviously, North Carolina State has taken the conference by storm. They've played all non-conference games so far, but certainly they've been impressive. Louisville at NC State. NC State minus 2.5. West Virginia at Oklahoma. Game 135-136. Oklahoma minus 5.5. Iowa at Wisconsin. Wisconsin, the home team, minus 11.5. That's a Big Ten divisional battle. Pittsburgh at Virginia Tech. ACC Coastal. Virginia Tech at home, minus 6. Mississippi State at Texas A&M. Texas A&M, minus 6. Big battle in the SEC West there. Next up, game 144, Central Florida at Tulane. Central Florida on the road, minus 4.5. Western Kentucky at Rice. Power ratings say Rice at home, minus 1.5. Kansas State at Oklahoma State. Nice Big 12 contest there. Power ratings say Oklahoma State at home, minus 3.5. Moving to 149-150, Houston at Tulsa. A couple of explosive offenses. Houston on the road. Power ratings suggest they are 11-point favorites. Arizona State at UCLA. Pac-12 matchup. UCLA minus 14. Arizona, check the status of quarterback Anu Solomon, who went out with a head injury over the weekend. Arizona at Stanford. Stanford minus 8. Texas at TCU. TCU minus 14. Nice battle here for the Commander's Trophy. Obviously, this is the first of the 3 games that will be played between the Armed Forces squads. Air Force at Navy. Power ratings make Navy a 6-point favorite. SEC battle, cross-divisional, Georgia from the east, Alabama from the west. Georgia's at home here. Power ratings make this game a pick'em. Another cross-divisional matchup in the SEC, Mississippi at Florida, game 161-162. Mississippi minus 4.5. Boston College at Duke, ACC battle. Duke minus 8. Nebraska at Illinois. Nebraska minus 9. 167-168 Ohio State at Indiana. Ohio State minus 24. Northern Illinois at Central Michigan in a very good MAC battle. Central Michigan at home, 3.5-point underdog. Northern Illinois minus 3.5. Texas Tech at Baylor. Explosive offenses on display. Baylor minus 18. Boise State as we move down the board. Game 173-174 right here. Hawaii travels to Boise. Boise minus 23.5. Rough travel for Hawaii so far this season. Oregon at Colorado. Oregon, of course, destroyed by Utah over the weekend. Oregon on the road minus 14. Washington State at California. Game 177-178. Power ratings make Cal a 12.5-point favorite. Non-conference game, San Jose State at Auburn. Auburn minus 20.5. Sunbelt, Idaho at Arkansas State. Long trip for the Idaho Vandals. Arkansas State, according to power ratings, should be minus 20.5. UL Lafayette at Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech at home, minus 10. In-state battle here in Tennessee. Vanderbilt plays Conference USA's Middle Tennessee. They've been surprising so far this year. Above expectations for sure. Middle Tennessee at home, minus 5. South Carolina at Missouri. SEC East, crucial game for both of these teams. Mizzou at home in Columbia, minus 1.5. Eastern Michigan at LSU. LSU minus 45. Old Dominion at Marshall. Marshall, the home team, minus 21. Arkansas at Tennessee. SEC cross-divisional battle. Tennessee minus 2. East Carolina travels to Dallas to play SMU. Game 195-196. East Carolina minus 8. North Texas at Southern Mississippi. Southern Miss, the home team, minus 13.5. Game 199-200. South Alabama at Troy. Power ratings make this game a pick'em. Georgia Southern at Louisiana Monroe. Georgia Southern rolling now with quarterback Kevin Ellison back off a suspension. Georgia Southern minus 8. Florida State at Wake Forest. Atlantic Division battle here in the ACC. Florida State on the road, -24. FSU off bye. Michigan at Maryland. Michigan, the road team, -6.5. Colorado State at Maryland, Colorado State at Utah State, game 207, 208 here towards the bottom of the rotation. Colorado State, Utah State at home, -4.5. Texas San Antonio at Texas El Paso, the home team, -0.5. Big intersectional battle here, Notre Dame at Clemson. Clemson comes in off a bye week. Clemson, the home team, power ratings show them to be -2.5. New Mexico State versus New Mexico, rivalry game here. New Mexico at home, -15.5. Another in-state rivalry, UNLV at Nevada. UNLV, fresh off the 80 points that they hung against Idaho State this past weekend. Nevada at home, -13. Game number 217, 218, Fresno State at San Diego State. San Diego State, huge disappointment this year. Power ratings make them a -7.5 point favorite. Last two games here are going to be extra board games. We'll go over those lines later in the week. Eastern Kentucky at Kentucky, Liberty at Georgia State. But there you have it. That's your power ratings projected lines for college football for this upcoming week. Openers should be out soon. Use them as a comparison. Obviously, power ratings do not take into account injury situations or situational spot plays. These are raw personnel numbers. So go ahead and use them as a foundation for your handicap. We'll be back tomorrow with our next report. Right now, this is Rob Vino saying good luck with all your plays.